Let's get to the latest on the MCD's anti-encroachment drive, and the South Delhi Municipal Corporation is carrying out an anti-encroachment drive in Shaheen Bagh today, center of the massive protest against the contentious citizenship law. The exercise, earlier scheduled to be held on Friday, had to be cancelled then due to unavailability of security forces. Delhi police has to provide security, but as you can see there, protests taking place, and also some people being dragged away by the police personnel and taken into the buses. The Delhi police this morning provided that force at the site for this anti-encroachment drive or demolition drive. Visuals showed the bulldozers have reached that area, and there's a heavy police presence, also a heavy presence of the locals there. And this is a part of an anti-encroachment drive that the MCD has been carrying out. It has prepared a 10-day action plan to remove encroachments from various areas of South Delhi, and Shaheen Bagh right there on their list, though this comes after the controversial action in Jahangirpuri, which was seen to be a kind of punishment after communal riots had broken out in Jahangirpuri after Hanuman Jayanti. And then we saw MCD bulldozers, which have become this symbol of a heavy hand being used against those who protest or indulge in violence, and especially after riots we've seen in various states. It was a part of the UP election campaign also, as Yogi Adityanath is seen as someone who's used the bulldozers quite frequently during his administration. Let's go across to Arvind for more. Arvind, give us more details now. This anti-encroachment drive, the bulldozers are there, the police force is there. We're also seeing a lot of locals protesting, and we believe some Congress workers also are there.
Yeah, Gati, the bulldozers have arrived here at the Shaheen Bagh for the anti-encroachment drive. So are the police personnel, the security protocol from the Delhi police side, along with paramilitary forces. But the demolition anti-encroachment drive or the demolition drive is yet to begin. So what we are hearing is that it will begin shortly. And what we are also seeing there is locals, the residents of Shaheen Bagh protesting against this anti-encroachment drive, saying that this is a clear case of vendetta. They were not given any notices to vacate this particular premises, and no rule or no process, no due process are being followed in this particular matter. And it's a clear case of vendetta. Whereas South Delhi Municipal Corporation is saying that they have been warning these people, asking them to vacate this particular public spaces, but because they did not vacate the public spaces, and it is a clear case of encroachment, and that's why they are using bulldozers to raise down or to clear all this encroached spaces. So both the sides are blaming each other, but what we are seeing is that Supreme Court is shortly to hear a petition that has been filed by several residents of the Delhi against this particular anti-encroachment drive. So maybe Supreme Court will issue some kind of an order today. That's what people here are hoping for. But the anti-encroachment drive is yet to begin, whereas several local residents have come here to protest against this anti-encroachment drive. What we are also seeing is that Aam Aadmi Party local MLA Amantullah Khan has also arrived here. Along also Congress workers are also here protesting against this anti-encroachment drive.
All right, and Arvind, as we were mentioning, this whole, bulldozers being used as a part of the anti-encroachment drive has also, these diggers rather, has become something of a controversy. The symbolism of bulldozers being used in these anti-encroachment drives is something that even the Supreme Court has commented on.
Yeah, Garki, bulldozer has become a symbol for excessive use of police force or excessive use of force by the government. This, in fact, we did see during the UP elections also, which BJP was using bulldozer to drive home a point about law and order, saying that under the BJP government in Uttar Pradesh with Yogi Adityanath as the chief minister, the law and order was very aptly or very carefully maintained by the government, and that's why they took bulldozer for all the political...
Right, Arvind, we'll just listen into what's being said over there. Just a moment.
जी हाँ, मुझे डिटेन किया गया था, लेकिन थोड़ी देर बाद पुलिस ने मुझे छोड़ दिया। कदम यही है कि हम गरीबों पे बुलडोजर नहीं चलने देंगे। बुलडोजर चलाना है तो सबसे पहले आदेश गुप्ता के घर पे चलाइए। बुलडोजर चलाना है तो सबसे पहले इकबाल सिंह जो नॉर्थ एमसीडी के मेयर हैं उनके घर पे चलाइए, वहां भी अतिक्रमण है।
Congress worker there. As we said, Congress activists have also arrived there to protest and and they're pointing out that why is it the poor people are suffering, that this action is targeting the poor colonies. But then he goes on to say, he names the Delhi BJP chief and the North Delhi MCD chief as that they should be targeted instead. But yes, Arvind, coming back to you, so we can see for the moment right now, it doesn't seem that anything has happened in terms of removing encroachments, but a lot of media there, a lot of locals are also protesting.
Yeah, bulldozers have come, but the anti-encroachment drive or the demolition is yet to begin because they are waiting for some kind of approval or kind of an order from the competent authorities. That's what we are getting to hear from them. But the Delhi police have also provided adequate police forces for this anti-encroachment drive that was sought by the South Delhi Municipal Corporation. In fact, this particular anti-encroachment drive here at Shaheen Bagh was supposed to be held much earlier, but due to non-availability of security forces, it was postponed and it is being done today. So it is yet to begin, but it is on the same day. The Supreme Court is expected shortly to hear a petition challenging this entire anti-encroachment drive here in the national capital, saying that no due process of law are being followed in this particular anti-encroachment drive. According to them, that show cause notices should have been issued to the so-called encroachers, but that have not been done. Without following the due process, without issuing them the show cause notice, without listening to them, bulldozers are being used, which, according to them, this is not rule of law. In fact, this is rule of bulldozer. That's what the opposition parties are accusing the BJP government for. But even the local residents are also opposing this particular anti-encroachment drive, saying that this is a clear case of vendetta because Shaheen Bagh, we did witness, Shaheen Bagh was the hotspot for this entire anti-CAA protest. Several people, including women, they staged protests against this against the CAA Citizenship Amendment Act here in the Shaheen Bagh, and that's why they are connecting this anti-encroachment drive here to this particular anti-CAA protest, calling it as a clear case of vendetta.
All right. Thanks so much, Arvind. And we will come back to you for more updates. But let's now go across to Sukirti regarding a plea by the CPM in the Supreme Court that was filed yesterday, which talks about this anti-encroachment drive being carried out by the South Delhi Municipal Corporation and also specifically talks about Shaheen Bagh. Sukirti, tell us more about this plea.
Well, this particular petition, Gargi, was filed yesterday by the CPIM against the demolitions that are being carried out by the SPMC in several areas like Sangam Vihar. It has already happened, and then it talks about the plan that the SPMC has for the Shaheen Bagh demolitions between May 9th and May 13th. Now, this particular plea was mentioned by the lawyers of CPIM in the Supreme Court today before the Chief Justice of India, seeking an urgent hearing in the matter. The CJI, however, pointed out that the matter has already been listed before another bench, which is, of course, a reference to the demolition cases which, in context of Jahangir Puri, which are already being heard by a bench led by Justice A.M. Khanvilkar. And it is expected to hear that particular petition in about half an hour from now. And along with those petitions, it is very likely that this SDMC demolition matter will also come up. What the CPIM is alleging in its plea is that this entire process of demolition is taking place without any due process of law being followed, and it is all part of a political game plan under which all of this is being done, and that is why it needs to be stopped.